Hello everybody out there, this is I've Magician, and I'm doing a quick deck profile of my main deck. This is the deck I go to locals with, this is the deck I mainly play with, and as you can tell it's the Dark Magician. I love this deck, this is my favourite deck by far. I've got other decks out there like Exodia, Sky Striker, Salamangreat, Blue Eyes, but this is my favourite deck. I always play this and it does me quite well, you know, I get always rank 8. I always get in the top 8 of my locals. I know that's nothing much, but we've got some good players out there. Yeah, I run 3 different artworks. I know people like to stick with one artwork, but I've got 3. In my deck box, I have another 3 of the all different types. I just love all the artworks, and these are my favourites. So, apart from the Dark Magician, we've got Magician of Dark Illusion. This card is another level 7 Dark Spellcaster monster. It can special summon itself from the hand whenever I play a spell trap during my opponent's turn. It becomes Dark Magician on the field, and it's just a great level 7 to have. I have the Apprentice of Illusion, Apprentice Illusion Magician. That's it. Sorry, I'm very tired and my tongue. This is my 4th take of this video, and it's like the same stuff all over again. This card is great. Special summon it to the field straight away. Also, when I special summon it, I can add 1 Dark Magician to my hand, which I always want to have. There's no reason not to have a Dark Magician in the hand. Also, whenever a Dark Spellcaster monster, apart from this card, is attacked into, I can discard this card or tribute this card, and the monster that's targeted for an attack gains 2,000 attack. Seeing as my strongest monster in my main deck is Dark Magician with 2,500, giving him 2,000 extra attack is just amazing. And now I run 3 Magician's Rods. This card is just amazing. I can instantly search a Dark Magician spell or trap straight away, and that's that's amazing for this deck. I want to get my Magician's Navigations. I want to get my Dark Magical Circle. That is something I want. So this card is just amazing, and when it's in the graveyard, I can then bring it back by tributing another spellcaster when I use a spell, or I think I'm misreading that. I don't often use the graveyard effect, to be honest, but yeah. And then finally, 3 Ash. There's no reason for anyone to not play 3 Ash. This card is amazing. It's an amazing hand trap. It's saved my butt so many times in duels by just stopping play straight away. It's easy to get now through the Salamangreat structure deck. That's what I did. I got 3 of them, and instead of putting them in my Salamangreat deck, I put them into this. I know a lot of people are going to hate me for that, but this is my favourite deck. It's my main deck, so I'm going to do that. Amazing hand trap. Onto the spells. 3 Dark Magical Circles. This card's amazing. First, I get to activate the top 3 cards of my deck, add a Dark Magician or a spell trap that lists Dark Magician in its text, add it to the hand, and then when I special summon a Dark Magician or normal summon a Dark Magician, it's a banish on my opponent's cards, and that's just an amazing effect, and that's what I rely on this deck, banishment. Now, 2 ofs. I have 2 Itemize. I love this card. This card allows me to bring out the Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, and Dark Paladin, which are 2 great fusion cards that I want to have on the field. Mainly Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. That card's amazing, and I'll show you why soon. And for the 1-offs, I've got Dark Magic Inheritance. That card is pretty much the same as a Magician's Rod, in the sense of I banish 2 spells, and then I can then banish 2 spells from my graveyard, and then search a Dark Magician spell trap, add it to my hand. And then I've got the Dark Magic Attack. That card, that's so useful. I can search it on Eternal Soul, the trap card, the continuous trap card in this deck. And yeah, if I have a Dark Magician on the field, I destroy all the spells and traps my opponent controls. It's amazing. And then I have the Illusion Magic. This little quick effect spell can help me out very much. I really want to get Dark Magicians into my hand as soon as I can. By not having them, it can cause problems into this deck, and it means I can brick hard. So by having Illusion Magic, I contribute a Spellcaster, which I'm likely to always have on the field, get 2 Dark Magicians, and then I can start the plays. Now for the draws, I have a Upstart Goblin, on 1 day of peace. These 2 cards are generic, you should know what these mean, but draw a card, my opponent gains 1,000 life points. Each player draws a card, neither player can take damage until the end of the opponent's turn. So that card, first turn, I like to go first with this deck, so if I can get this, it doesn't bother me too much. The fact that I can also be saved from damage for a turn means a lot, because I can still do a lot of banishment and disruption while I'm waiting to attack. And then I have 2 Allure of Darknesses. Now, Allure is perfect for this deck. I don't mind banishing my Dark Magician, my Magician of Dark Illusion, Apprentice Illusion Magician, or Magician's Rod. All of them can be banished, but I don't like banishing more than one. If I banish more than one, it can cause it to feel sluggish, and it can ruin my plays completely. So if I can banish one and then another, get 4 out of this by using 2 of them, that's fine for me. And then I play Secret Village of Spellcasters. So many decks hate this card. First of all, Sky Strikers hate this card. So many, because spells are just the lifeblood of Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. I know I wouldn't be able to do much about my spells. I use a lot of traps and monster and hand effects, but still, if I didn't have my spells, it would ruin me. And the fact that I can play this and just disrupt so many decks is just, I want to say hilarious, but it's cruel to the other players because I stop them from playing, but it just makes my life so much easier if I can get this on the field. So the traps now. 3 Magicians, Navigations. These cards are amazing for both of their effects. Firstly, if I have a Dark Magician in my hand, I can special summon the Dark Magician and then a level 7 or lower Dark Spellcaster monster from my deck. Oh my god, that is so handy. If I can then go into my Xyz plays, I can then bring out a Wee Witch if I needed. You know, it's such a good card. And then if I control a Dark Magician on the field, I can banish this card, except for the turn I played it, or except for the turn I put it in the graveyard. I can banish it and then negate the effect of one of my opponent's cards, spells or traps. So Disruption, Summon, if I have a Magician's Circle on the field as well when I play this, I banish. It's so good. Eternal Soul. This card is a yin and a yang. It's a continuous trap. I can special summon a Dark Magician on the field, to the field from my hand or my graveyard, so it's quite good at recycling Dark Magicians. Every Dark Magician is unaffected by opponent's cards, so that's amazing as well. It protects my Dark Magicians really well. I can search a Dark Magic Attack as well for my deck, which is a good spell card to add, you know, thin out the deck a bit. But here's the catch: if this is removed from the field, it destroys all of my cards, and that is something that is risky. I don't like getting this early game. I don't like hard drawing this card. I prefer to search for it, because if I search for it, it's because I've already got the setup I need to protect it. If I bring out the Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, that card will protect this card, and then this card protects that card. You know, they both protect each other, which is just it's kind of the best way to play Eternal Soul, is to have it protected. Because if you leave it out, one Twin Twisters can completely ruin my day. Unless I've got a Navigation in the graveyard. And then I play 2 Gozer Match. All of my monsters, apart from a handful in the extra deck and the hand traps, are dark. So I am not disrupted by this card at all, not one bit. So I love having this card on the field. It can really just cause a lot of problems for my opponent, more than it can ever cause me. Rivalry of the Warlord is another card. Similar scenario. All of my monsters, apart from the hand traps and a handful of my extra deck, are spellcasters. The only issue with this card is, if I bring it out, I can't play my Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. And that's a card I really like to play, and it's a good card. It's kind of my main focus of the deck. Well, it's not, it is and it isn't. If I can bring that card out, that can give me the game. I have other ways of winning, many other ways of winning. My XYZ cards can do that for me. But if I can't get the Dragon Rider out, it can just make it a little bit harder. And then finally, Skill Drain. I don't often use effects. Well, my main deck doesn't really need effects, monster effects. They use effects from the hand, and then I use spells and traps. I can survive without monster effects. I can still play really well without monster effects. Other decks, like, let's just say Sky Strikers, this deck bullies Sky Strikers, Skill Drain and Secret Village just ruins it. They need the monster effects to power them up, recycle their cards, attack directly, lower my monster's attacks, you know. If I get rid of that, then they've just got really weak cards. You know, it can really struggle them. It can make them struggle. Like when they bring out Ray to the field, they can't then quick effect tribute it to bring out one of the link cards. I'll just destroy Ray and I'll just stop that disruption, and then give myself an open field. So yeah, that's the main deck. I'll move on to the extra deck. My links, one Wee Witch. Wee Witch is all I need really for extra deck. Not for links, I mean. That card, it gives me 2 link arrows. It's in an area which I badly need, you know, and it boosts all my monsters by 500 if they're dark spellcasters, or if it's just dark actually. Yeah, just dark, which a lot of my monsters are dark. So that helps there with a power boost, and when it's sent to the graveyard, add a dark monster to my hand. Again, amazing little effect there. Now for my fusions, I run the Dark Paladin and Dark Magician the Dragon Knight. 2 quality cards right there, you know, old school cards right there as well. He protects my back row, he stops spells and boosts himself for every dragon in the graveyard and on the field. Quality card right there. Both of them are just powerful monsters that I can bring out with ease and not have to worry about a polymerization and the fusion card. Just 1 card only to itemize. Now the XYZ cards. I have 2 Ebon Illusion Magician. This card is just an amazing card for this deck. First of all, when I bring it out, I can get rid of one of its materials and special summon a Dark Magician from my hand or deck, which is already an amazing effect right there. Because if I have a Dark Magical Circle out, that's a banish from that. Then, when that said Dark Magician attacks, or any Dark Magician attacks, well, a normal spellcaster monster attacks, this card's effect means I can banish 1 card my opponent controls while it attacks. So if there's only 1 monster on the field, Dark Magician attacks into it, straight away this banishes it, and then the Dark Magician attacks directly, and this attacks directly for 5,000 already. So that's a good little effect there. Now I play 1 Ebon High Magician. This card, I love it and hate it. I love to use it, but I hate that I get in scenarios that I need to play it. You understand what I mean. Ebon High Magician is not as powerful, like only 2300 attack, while Ebon Illusion's got 2500. They both require 2 level 7 spellcasters, so same requirements. Ebon High Magician means I can play a spell, a quick play spell or a trap during my opponent's turn by discarding or detaching 1 XYZ material. By that point, I think I already would have a good enough setup that I won't need to play that. There are scenarios where it can help me, and it's a good card to also have as well. Like, I don't want to rely on 1 card on the extra deck, or 2 cards, because 1 Ghost Reaper in someone's deck that knows what I'm playing in side decks. Like maybe someone's playing another Dark Magician deck and they put a Ghost Reaper in, and they know that they can banish this and then disrupt me as well. They'll banish their Ebon Illusion Magician or get rid of their Ebon Illusion Magician to get rid of all of mine. So, you know, it's good to have other cards or other backups, because if you use the same strategy over and over, people can predict what you're going to do and then plan ahead. Sorry about that. I then play number 11, Big Eye. You may notice all of these are dark spellcasters, apart from the Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, and that's because I don't want my extra deck also being affected with a Gozen match or a Rivalry of the Warlords. I've played many people that the main deck will be like, I played ABCs, all of them will have Light Machine monsters in their deck. But the second they need to use their extra deck, they're going into their Nightmare cards, the Nightmare Phoenix or Nightmare Unicorn. They're not Light Machines, so... And people forget about that extra deck, so I plan my extra deck as well around it. You'll notice there's a handful of cards that don't meet the requirements, but these cards are my main cards there, and they all fit in. Now another card I love to play, and it's a dark card, but it's not a spellcast, it's a dragon. Red Ice Flare Metal Dragon. I love this card so much. I've played it so many times. I always bring it out whenever I can. 2 level 7 monsters cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects if it has material. Straight away, that is an amazing effect. 2800 attack, amazing as well. The burn this card does is just hilarious. I can burn my opponent for 500 life points whenever they immediately after they activate a card or effect. And it's not a once per turn. I don't believe it's a once per turn. If it is, then roast me in the comments. But it's not a once per turn, so I can just keep burning them. I've honestly done plays where I left someone with 500 life points and then brought out the Red Ice Flare Metal, and I sat back and just waited for them to squirm because it's immediately after. It can't, immediately after they play a card, burn them for 500. So that's just amazing play. Then I've got number 28. Titanic Moth. This card is a card that I don't want to ever play because hopefully I'd have been in a position where I've already won. But this card can attack directly if it's the only card on the field, but but its damage is halved. So where it's 2400, it will be, well, you can't see it because it's not the camera's not that good, but where it's 2400, it will be 1200, and then I can burn my opponent for every card they have in their hand times 500. So if they got 3, 1500. If they got 5, then that's 2500 straight away, and that's quite a good bit of burn damage. And I've got Master of Blades. Master of Blades, and again, all of these are 2 level 7 monsters. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets this card, I can negate it by detaching material, destroy the card, and then destroy another card on my opponent's field. So it's a very good card. I haven't used it too much because I kind of go into other plays first, but if I can, I will go into this card. If I have the opportunity, I will, because it's a very good card. Being able to possibly destroy 4 cards on my opponent's field, it's quite a good effect, so there's no reason why I wouldn't. But the only thing is, it's Earth and it's Psychic. A Goza match or a Rivalry of the Warlords early game will just stop me from playing that card. And finally, I just chuck this in. Red Wyvern. I can bring it out to level 6 Synchro Monster. I can easily bring it out with a Ash and a Magician's Rod. The likelihood of me ever bringing it out is very slim to none. It's got a nice little effect, 2400 attack. But yeah, I just threw it in there for the hell of it, for the halibut. But at no point am I ever planning on playing that card. So yeah, that is my extra deck. I'm not going to go into my side deck because it is just a jumble of rubbish. I don't run a side deck really. All I put in here if I ever need is a Solemn or a Twin Twisters really. Just that's all I'll kind of swap over for stuff. But yeah, that's my Dark Magician deck. If you like the video, please like and subscribe, share, get it out there. This is my first ever video. My next video will be coming up soon, probably Sunday or Monday, and that'll be a vlog of my me going to locals. My locals is on a Sunday, so I'll be going to that. I try and go every other Sunday because I like to spend one of my Sundays with my family and my girlfriend. So one of that. But yeah, so new videos coming out soon. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys around. Bye.